Your breakfast is deciding your belly fat before 9 a.m. Not dinner. Not lunch. Breakfast. 7 small habits in that one meal create the hormonal environment your body runs on for the entire day. Get them right and fat burning runs automatically. Get them wrong and fat storage locks in before you leave the house. Drop a comment right now. What does your typical breakfast actually look like? Here is the biology in 2 sentences. Insulin sensitivity is highest in the morning and declines through the day. Cortisol is at its natural peak in the first 30 to 45 minutes after waking. Those 2 facts mean that what you eat, and when you eat it in the morning, produces larger hormonal effects than the same food eaten at any other time of day. A study published in the International Journal of Obesity found that breakfast composition and timing produced larger effects on daily fat oxidation than any other meal. Not dinner, not lunch, breakfast. 7 habits determine which direction that effect goes. Habit number 1. Eating breakfast within 1 to 2 hours of waking. This is the timing window most people miss in both directions. Some people eat immediately upon waking. Others skip breakfast entirely until 11 a.m. or noon. Both create problems. Here is why the 1 to 2 hour window matters. Your cortisol awakening response needs 30 to 45 minutes to peak naturally after waking. This peak is your body's built-in energy mobilization signal. It pulls stored fat into circulation to fuel your morning. Eating immediately interrupts that process before it completes. Eating too late leaves cortisol elevated for too long without food to anchor blood sugar, which triggers a stress response that promotes muscle breakdown over fat burning. The 1 to 2 hour window lets cortisol do its job first. Then, food arrives at the right time. A study in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology found that eating within 1 to 2 hours of waking optimized cortisol metabolism and improved insulin sensitivity compared to eating immediately or delaying beyond 2 hours. Fix. Wake up, hydrate, get some light. Start your morning. Eat within 60 to 90 minutes, not immediately. Not at 11 a.m. That window is where the metabolic advantage lives. Habit number 2. Skipping breakfast without a proper fasting protocol. This is the mistake most people make while believing they are being smart about intermittent fasting. You read about fasting. You decide to skip breakfast to extend your overnight fast. The logic sounds right. Here is what actually happens without a structured protocol. Cortisol rises because there is no food to anchor blood sugar. Without a proper fasting framework, your body interprets the prolonged morning fast as stress, not as a fat-burning opportunity. Cortisol stays elevated. Your body breaks down muscle before fat in this state, and then hunger accumulates. Lunch becomes the largest meal of the day, eaten at a time when insulin sensitivity is already declining. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that skipping breakfast without a structured fasting protocol increased cortisol, promoted muscle catabolism, and paradoxically increased visceral fat accumulation compared to eating a protein-rich breakfast. Skipping breakfast half-heartedly is the worst of both worlds. Fix. If you want to fast, follow a proper structured protocol with a clear eating window. If you are not fasting, eat breakfast within the 1 to 2 hour window from habit 1. One or the other. Not a vague in-between. Habit number 3. Eating at least 30 grams of protein at breakfast. This is the single most impactful change most people can make to their breakfast. Look at what naturally lean people eat in the morning. Almost always there is a clear protein source. Eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, smoked salmon. Protein is the centerpiece. Not toast, not granola, not cereal. Here is why 30 grams specifically matters. Protein at breakfast triggers GLP-1 release from your gut cells. GLP-1 suppresses appetite for the next 3 to 4 hours. It slows gastric emptying, so any carbohydrates you eat afterward enter your bloodstream slowly and steadily. And it signals your brain that stored fat is available as fuel. Protein also has the highest thermic effect of any macronutrient. Your body burns 25 to 30% of protein calories just to digest it. That fat burning starts at breakfast and runs through the morning. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that 30 grams of protein at breakfast reduced daily calorie intake by an average of 441 calories without conscious restriction compared to a low-protein breakfast. 441 fewer calories consumed every day. No counting, no restricting, no willpower. Just protein at breakfast. Fix. 3 eggs gives you 18 grams. Add 2 tablespoons of Greek yogurt for another 10. That is 28 grams before you add anything else. Protein first, everything else second. Habit number 4, eating an all-carb breakfast. This is the mistake most cleverly marketed as healthy eating. Cereal with low-fat milk, oatmeal with honey and banana, granola bar on the way out, toast with jam. Orange juice alongside all of it. Every single item in that list spikes blood sugar. And without protein to slow absorption, the glucose hits your bloodstream fast. Here's the cascade that follows. Blood sugar spikes sharply. Insulin spikes to match. Blood sugar crashes 90 minutes later. Your brain panics. Ghrelin surges. You crave carbs and sugar immediately. You are on a blood sugar roller coaster before 10 a.m., and you will ride it all day. A study published in the British Journal of Nutrition found that a high glycemic index breakfast produced significantly greater afternoon energy crashes and higher total daily calorie intake compared to a protein and fat-rich breakfast with the same total morning calories. Same calories in the morning. More calories consumed by the end of the day. Because the breakfast created hunger instead of suppressing it. Fix. Do not eliminate carbs from breakfast. Just do not make them the centerpiece. Protein and fat anchor the meal. Carbohydrates are the addition, not the foundation. Eggs with vegetables and a piece of fruit on the side beats cereal with fruit every time biologically. Habit number 5. Not drinking water before breakfast. This is the simplest habit on the list, and one of the most consistently skipped. Overnight, you lose between half a liter and a full liter of water through breathing and mild perspiration. By the time you wake up, mild dehydration is already present. Mild dehydration forces your kidneys to signal your liver for help with filtration. While your liver is supporting your kidneys, it reduces its capacity for fat metabolism. Fat burning slows before breakfast has even arrived. Drinking 500 milliliters of water before eating rehydrates your system and restores your liver's full fat-burning capacity before the first meal begins. A study in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology found that drinking 500 milliliters of water before breakfast increased metabolic rate by 24% for 60 minutes afterward and naturally reduced breakfast portion size. 24% metabolic boost before a single bite of food. Fix. 500 milliliters of water immediately after waking, before coffee, before food, before anything else. Already covered in the morning habits video, but in the context of breakfast, the effect compounds. Water plus protein. First breakfast creates a metabolic environment most people have never experienced at 8 a.m. Habit number 6. Eating breakfast while looking at a screen. This is the mistake that modern morning culture has completely normalized. Laptop open, checking emails while eating, phone in hand, scrolling while chewing, eating in the car while driving to work. It feels efficient. It costs more than most people realize. Here is the mechanism. When you eat with full attention on your food, your brain triggers the cephalic phase digestive response. Saliva production increases. Digestive enzymes release. Satiety hormones prepare to respond to incoming food. When you are distracted by a screen, this response is suppressed. Your brain does not fully register that breakfast happened. Hunger returns earlier than it should. The craving for a mid-morning snack arrives faster and stronger. A study published in Appetite Journal found that eating breakfast while distracted by screens increased subsequent mid-morning snacking by 40% compared to eating with full attention on the food. 40% more snacking before noon, from one distracted breakfast. And remember what snacking does to your insulin window from the previous video. Fix. 15 minutes without a screen during breakfast. Not a meditation practice. Not a mindfulness ritual. Just 15 minutes where the food gets your attention instead of a device. Put the phone face down. Close the laptop. Eat. Habit number 7. Making breakfast your smallest meal. This is the habit that surprises people most, because most people do the exact opposite without realizing it. Light breakfast or none at all. Medium lunch, largest meal at dinner. That pattern is the reverse of what your biology is designed for. Here is the mechanism. Insulin sensitivity follows a circadian pattern. It is highest in the morning and declines progressively through the day. The same meal eaten at 8 a.m. produces a lower insulin response and less fat storage than the same meal eaten at 8 p.m. When dinner is your largest meal, you are eating the most food. At the time your insulin sensitivity is lowest. Your body has the hardest time processing that glucose load efficiently. More of it gets stored as fat. When breakfast is your largest or second largest meal, you are eating the most food when your body processes it most efficiently. Less insulin required, less fat storage, more fat burning. A study published in Obesity compared two groups eating identical total daily calories. One group made breakfast their largest meal. The other made dinner their largest. The breakfast-heavy group lost significantly more weight and more visceral fat over 12 weeks. Same calories. Different distribution, different outcome. Lisa shifted her calories toward breakfast and lunch and made dinner lighter. She did not change her total intake. After 8 weeks, her waist circumference had decreased by 2.8 centimeters. Fix. Make breakfast substantial. Not a granola bar grabbed on the way out. A real meal with protein as the centerpiece, eaten while sitting down within the 1 to 2 hour window. If dinner has been your largest meal for years, shift gradually. Increase breakfast and lunch slightly. Decrease dinner proportionally. Over weeks, your appetite naturally adjusts to the new pattern. 7 habits. 1 meal. The entire day decided before 9 a.m. Habit 1. What lean people do naturally. Eating within 1 to 2 hours of waking lets cortisol complete its fat mobilization job before food arrives. Habit 2. The common mistake. Skipping breakfast without a structured protocol raises cortisol, breaks down muscle, and increases visceral fat. Habit 3. What lean people do naturally. 30 grams of protein at breakfast reduces daily calorie intake by 441 calories through natural GLP-1-driven appetite suppression. Habit 4. The common mistake. An all-carb breakfast creates a blood sugar roller coaster that drives hunger and snacking for the entire day. Habit 5. What lean people do naturally. 500 milliliters of water before breakfast restores liver fat metabolism and produces a 24% metabolic boost before the first bite. Habit 6. The common mistake. Eating breakfast while looking at screens suppresses satiety hormones and increases mid-morning snacking by 40%. Habit 7. What lean people do naturally. Making breakfast the largest or second largest meal takes advantage of peak morning insulin sensitivity when the same food produces the least fat storage. Here is the truth about breakfast. It is not the meal you can skip or rush or eat in your car. It is the meal that sets the hormonal environment your body runs on until dinner. Get it right, and fat burning becomes the default. Get it wrong, and fat storage locks in before you have even started the day. 7 habits. 1 meal. Every morning, start tomorrow. Pick the one habit furthest from what you are currently doing and change just that. Which of these 7 surprised you most today? Drop it in the comments below. I read every single one. If this changed how you think about breakfast and belly fat, subscribe to What Science Reveals. Real science explained clearly every single week. And if you want to see how eating protein first and your morning habits connect to everything we covered today, those videos are right here. See you in the next one.